Dear friends in the Dhamma, today we're going to talk about a sutta which is called Natthiputtasama. It's a Pali word, right? So we need to find out the meaning of this name at first. Natthiputtasama. So Putta means children, right? So in general, it's children. But in Sanskrit, we know call putra putri. Putra is son, putri is daughter, which is vague in Pali, because in Pali language we understand putra is generic to sons and daughters. Natti means none, right? Sama is equal. So none equal to that for a son or a daughter. Now, as you know, in these suttas that we've been discussing, what usually happens is that a deity approaches the Buddha and then presents a version of what the deity thinks about a very important topic. In this sutta, it's about few different aspects of some context. Okay, I'm going to read the Pali stanza of what the deity presented to the Buddha. Okay, Ekamantang tita kusa devata bhagavatu santike imangatang abhasi. So this is the narrative form how the senior monks reported in the first convocation. It's not the Buddha's words, but it was how it was narrated at the convocation. So the deity says, Natthiputtasama Pemang, Natti go samitang danang, Natti surya sama abha, samudda parama sara. There are some words that are not that much generic to some of you, I guess. Natthiputtasama Pemang. I think Pemang is a word that you may have heard, right? What is Pemang? Huh? Love. It's a very, because we know Sinhala language was highly influenced from Sanskrit and Pali, so then it's a very, very popular word that everybody knows. But what does it say? Natthiputtasama Pemang. There is no affection like that for a son or a daughter. This is what the Deva thinks. Last Monday and the other Monday we discussed these two are presenting two types of truths. The Devas, the deities present the secular version, conventional version of the truth, while the Buddha presents the ultimate truth version of the context. So that means both can be true at different contexts, right? So we should not take one over the other thing. But let's take a look. There is no affection like that for a son. Okay. What are the places where we find this Pema concept in the Buddhist teachings? Pema. Do you remember when Nanda was ordained by the Buddha? That happened very unexpectedly. Nanda, Prince Nanda, was about to get married with Janapada Kalyani. But what happened? After the lunch, Buddha did not, Prince Nanda was helping the Buddha. He was carrying his alms bowl. And then when the Buddha and the retinue of the monks came to the temple, Buddha asked, would you like to be a monk? Would you like to be ordained? Out of the respect for the Buddha, now we know that the wedding is over there, and his fiancée wife, this woman was, telling him, before my, what do you call the tilaka in English, that Hindu tilaka is going to get dry, you must come back. But out of the respect for the Buddha, he could not actually keep that word to him and to her. And then what happened? He said he was silently consenting to that thing. And then what happened? He was ordained. So this was a really big thing happened. And Janapada Kalyani was really upset about it. And then the whole relatives, friends who came for the nuptial wedding activities, they were really upset too. Where is this guy? He was going to be married. And then and Prince Nanda was also a relative, close relative of the Buddha. And then what happened? After some time, Prince Rahula, Prince Siddhartha, Buddha's, son at that time, he was ordained as well. At that time, King Suddhodana, the Buddha's father, was really upset about, really, uncomfortable with what Buddha says. And then he approached the Buddha. Buddha's father approached the Buddha, and then he was telling this thing that has a clear connection to the filial love, right? So love towards sons and daughters. Putta pemang bhante chaving chindati. Okay, chaving chetva chammang chindati. Chammang chetva mansang chindati. Mansang chetva naharung chindati. Naharung chetva atting chindati. Atting chetva attiminjang ahacha tittati. So this is how King Suddhodana, it was explained to Buddha, how is filial love like to parents. What does he say? This filial love is something like that cuts the skin, and then having cut the skin, it also cuts the underskin. Having cut the underskin, it cut the flesh. I think we are talking about the typical filial love. And having cut the flesh, it cut the sinew. And having cut the sinew, it cut the bones. And having cut the bone, it left the marrow exposed. That means this filial love is that strong. This is really very strong thing. So you please do not ordain anybody without the consent of their parents. And that's when the Buddha decided and then laid down a rule for the monks, including his activities, that we are not going to ordain anybody without their parents' consent. So I was trying to talk about pema. So pema is a very wonderful topic in Buddhist teaching. A lot of people, they largely forget about this thing because they are confusing Sammuti Satcha with Paramatta Satcha. Right? In the Paramatta Satcha, ultimate truth, pema is a problem. Everybody knows that. But at the conventional level, at the conventional truth, pema is something everybody need. Everybody need to be loved. Everybody need sense of belonging, right? But everybody need to understand how moderately one has to do that. People are going over with different people, right? And the other thing is, the deity was telling the Buddha, so there is no love compared to this filial love in the world. Okay, and then no wealth equal to cattle. The cattle was a big acquisition. Even we talked about last Monday. Cattle at that time, when you own cattle, it's the best wealth. I mean, that's how the deity was explained to Buddha. There is no light like the sun, S-U-N, sun, right? So the sun is that kind of a wonderful object, and the Deva was telling the Buddha, so sun has the best light in the world. Among the waters, the ocean is supreme. So when you talk about lakes, rivers, and all these things, the Deva was telling the Buddha, ocean is incomparable with any other type of watery places. Okay, now let's take a look at what Buddha says. Natthiputtasama Sutta. So he uses the same word called pema, but in a different way. Buddha says there is no affection like that for oneself. So that means self-love takes precedence, takes over all the other love. Now, what is self-love? Is this something, a big thing in our life? Anybody has something to say? Self-love? What is self-love?
Ultimately, you look after yourself, right? That is stronger than anything else.
Okay. So, I mean, it's a different way of looking at it, but it's true as well. Like, although we talk about we are loving other people, but at the end, what we have done is that we were receiving love from other people. When they stop that doing, we feel really upset about it. Sometimes a lot of people, they stop what they were doing to other people too. Do you remember what happened with Mallika, Queen Mallika and the King Kosala? One evening, King Kosala asked a question from Queen Mallika. Who do you love most? That was the question, and they were having a tea. Good time, right? Who do you love? There's a question why he asked that, why he couldn't ask that at the beginning of their relationship. But anyway, he was checking out what's going on. And she was thinking to herself a little bit, say, dear king, I love myself more than any other person. And he was really upset about it. He did not expect that answer. He was thinking, okay, Queen Mallika may tell me that I'm the one who is most loved by her. And then the king was really upset, and then king approached the Buddha the same day. This happened. I was loving her, but I was giving everything what she needed, but she said this. And Buddha said, no, it's right. She may love you, but not from that ultimate level. Okay? So that means self-love is something that takes over all the other types of love. But it could be selfish, but it could not be selfish too. Like, in order to be a Buddha, a Bodhisattva has to become the Buddha first, right? People might, interpret that as a selfish, motive. But unless you become the Buddha, how come you're going to, explain this truth to other people? So there are some, different contexts where people don't understand. People paint everything, every self-based effort as selfish efforts, right? So anyway, self-love is you can't actually compare self-love to any other type of love. And we practice self-love with the metta meditation, loving kindness meditation. Why and how do we practice loving kindness meditation with self-love? How do we start our loving kindness meditation? From whom? From us. Because we never know how much love we need to extend to other people unless we don't understand how much do we love ourselves. A lot of people, they don't have self-love. They want to take their life. They want to, injure themselves. It's a big problem. That's why Buddha says you need to practice self-love at the beginning. Not even at the beginning. When you practice Buddhism, you need to start from self-love. That's a very important thing. And Buddha also said in one of his suttas, if somebody can practice loving kindness, metta, for a split second, and the merit or the good karma that person creates by practicing loving kindness for a split second takes over all the other kusalas. Think about it. You may practice dana, you may practice a lot of other things, but metta is the pillar of all the kusalas. Because when you are angry, when you are practicing anger towards other people, even though you are doing a lot of good things, they won't be, go on the same way. So that's why Buddha says self-love is very important. In terms of the wealth, no wealth equal to grain. So cattle and grain has a different interpretation. So, different type of grains. There is no light like wisdom. Now, the Deva was saying the light of the sun takes over all the other lights, but Buddha says it's at the conventional level, but at the spiritual level, the light of the wisdom takes over all the other types of lights. Actually, Buddha had this wisdom, not that sun, right? Now, what is Buddhist wisdom? Like, wisdom is a very generic term in all the cultures, like in the Western culture, Eastern culture, in different, civilizations. What is Buddhist wisdom? There is periodical wisdom, right? Whatever the circumstances you are going to meet with certain things, you need to be really wise enough to handle those situations. So it's a kind of a different type of wisdom. But the Buddhist wisdom means if someone can practice anicca, dukkha and anatta, and that is called wisdom. And there are 3 Pali stanzas for this in Dhammapada. Sabbe sankhara anicca ata nibbindate dukkhe esamakkus. Now I'm going to explain to you what those stanzas interpret. Sabbe sankhara anicchati yada panyaya passati. Okay, what is panyaya in the first place? If someone can see, sankharas. What is sankhara? Everything that is made out of something else. So we are sankharas, right? So we were made out of our parents. This is sankhara, made out of something else. Everything is sankhara. The only thing that is not sankhara is nibbana. There's no connection, right? Breaking the connection, right? That is nirvana, which we are trying to achieve ultimately. So then, if we can understand the nature of impermanence of everything that is made out of something else, that's the first step to the panya. Now, when something hits us, for example, a loss of beloved people, a profit loss, maybe loss of money, we don't look at that nature of impermanence of that sankhara. We don't call it sankhara, right? And then the second thing is, when you understand sankhara, when you understand the nature of impermanence of every sankhara, then you are slowly, gradually going to the next level. That is called, you are trying to understand the dissatisfaction of the same sankhara. There is a dissatisfaction, right? Let's say we like things, but over time we might feel like, okay, I don't have the same interest any longer. But I have the same interest for a different thing. Right? So this is what happens. So are we then trying to understand that unsatisfactory nature of sankharas, which we call things that are made out of other things, right? And then the last thing is very important, non-identifying the connection between particular objects and yourself. What happens is that it is me, that's me, it's myself, he's my this, she's my this, they are my possessions, my acquisitions, and we are making big connection between, like, it's okay at the conventional level. But at the end, we need to understand that we should not identify the connection between us and those objects. When you break the connection between those objects and yourself, that is what we call anatta. You don't understand that there is atta, there is me, myself, I, me, myself. Right? When something hits us, what happens is that, okay, that's my money, that's my thing, he is my this one, this is what I've been building up over time, right? But you lost them for some reasons. Then you won't be able to get them back. At that point, how are you going to understand what really happened? From the Paramatta Satya, called ultimate truth, is that you are cutting down that connection between you and with those objects, animate or inanimate. Okay, so that's called Buddhist wisdom. It's not something else. So then Buddha says, if someone is trying to at least understand, and then a step further, going from that path, is that applying the wisdom into one's practical life, that light takes over the sun. Sun is just kind of an object, right? But that light takes over almost everything. Among the waters, the rain is supreme, not the ocean. Rain is something really important to us, right? What do we call rain in Pali? Vutti. Vutti. V-U-T-T-I. Anybody remember Vutti in other suttas? Do you remember Kasi Bharadwaja Sutta in the Piripota chanting book? You remember there was a conversation going on between a farmer and the Buddha, and the farmer, the Buddha was actually going on that route, and then what happened? The Buddha was, having his empty bowl, and the farmer was insulting the Buddha. Yeah, I don't give you any food because you guys don't earn money and bringing the bowls to us for the food. Buddha didn't say anything, and Buddha said after, I also do farming, and the farmer asked, where is your farming stuff? Where is your different things with regard to farming? Where is your what do you call them? Animal? Where is your cattle? Where is your fundamental things with farming? And Buddha says, Saddha Bijang Tapo Vutti. Okay, so my rain is not the rain that you think that you may have for your farming. My rain is tapo, maintenance. That means I'm trying to manage myself. So that is my rain. Saddha Bijang. So my crops are not your crops that you are cultivating. My crops is basically saddha, trust. Because if the trust is not rooted properly in our practice spiritually, then nothing will work. It happens in your life too, right? If you don't have trust between your connections, that deeply rooted trust, then all the time you are suspecting each other. You are snooping, right? Snooping, even the other people doing something, you are really concerned about what they are doing, right? So that's why Buddha says, my Vutti, my rain is not your rain. My rain is maintenance, like handling myself, handling oneself, controlling oneself properly. So then Vutti is a very famous word in the Pali canon. Anyway, Buddha says, among the waters, it's not the ocean that takes over, but the rain, Vutti. Okay? So the main idea of this sutta is that Buddha presents the ultimate version of the truth, while the deity presenting the conventional version of the truth. These go in tandem. So you can just omit one thing or the other thing, but they are truth, but differently. But it's something interesting to think about in our life. If you have kids, then you know that how wonderful it is to have a kid, right? In your life, when you think about them, their growth, when they are growing, each time when they are growing, you feel really happy about them. But one day, when you know that they are going on their own path, it's a different feeling, right? At that time, this sorrow may begin to start, right? That's why Buddha says, then it is self-love. Okay, sons, daughters, they're leaving houses. Who is going to take care of us, right? Only my dog, my cat, right? It's a different thinking. That's going to be the self-love. That's why the Buddha says, it's true that conventionally, filial love is the best, but ultimately, it's not the best love. It's the self-love. That's what happens to everybody. Okay, anyone wants to ask a question or? Anything related to the sutta or any question in general about Buddhist teachings?
To attain Nibbana, self-love is to attain Nibbana, right?
Well, self-love, we have self-love. I think even when you think that you have filial love towards your kids, that also has self-love, because you think that what you are doing and what you are receiving indirectly, but it's not that strong when you're doing that. I think self-love is always existing, but when they leave you or when you don't feel at a certain time, self-love is building up more than the filial love. That's what happens. That's why then you are very curious about how you can attain Nibbana, how you can work on your spiritual progress, right? Because in one stanza Buddha also says, what is this? What is the Gatha in the Dhammapada? Putta matti dhanam matti iti balo vihanyati. Attahi attano natti kutu putta kutu dhanam. This is the place where one gets at the self-love, the real place. Putta matti dhanam matti iti balo vihanyati. The fool thinks I have sons and daughters and money, acquisitions. The fool, ultimately. Not the conventional stuff. Conventional, it's okay. You need to have some money. You need to have good people, right, around you. But the fool thinks that beyond that conventional level. Attahi attano natti, even you don't have for yourself. Because you are leaving your body here. You don't carry that. If you are that kind of a strong person, at least you should be able to carry your body when you die. No, you are leaving it here. Right? And then kuto putta, kuto dana. If you don't have your body when you die, when you are becoming, then what about the sons, daughters, and acquisitions? You are definitely leaving them behind. So that's, I think, when this stanza was given by the Buddha, what happens to people is that people are thinking, oh, then what should I do? I should do my spiritual practice. That is self-love. So that's a good place. But it is something which is given at the ultimate truth level. So you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to underscore your filial love, sons, daughters, acquisitions. But at the ultimate level, it's a different truth. Make sense? If there are no questions, so let's wrap this up. Let's share all the good karmas with the departed relatives and the deities. May all the departed relatives who passed away, in the name of all of you, in this life, in the past lives, be shared, sharing all these good karmas. May they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idammi ñāti nangotu sukita huntu ñāteyo. Idammi ñāti nangotu sukita huntu ñāteyo. Idammi ñāti nangotu sukita huntu ñāteyo. Also, as a custom, we share our good karmas with the deities. We are sharing our happiness with the deities. So may all the good karmas be shared by all the deities who protect, who bless all of us. May they be happy and peaceful. May they also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha cha bhummattha deva naga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanam. Akasattha cha bhummattha deva naga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanam. Akasattha cha bhummattha deva naga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mang paranti. Finally, let's make a great wish. May all the good karmas we've been collecting so far help all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We two monks will be reciting few stanzas to bless all of you. Abhivadana siddhis niccang vaddha pachayino chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminate samijjatu. So let's bow down 3 times as a respect for the teachings of Buddha.